All right, guys. Everybody's having a good day. Glad to have you here. I'm going to get started. I'm just going to give it 2 more minutes, 3 more minutes to let a few more people in, and we'll get rocking and rolling. All right. All right, you guys can see my screen okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So I think I'm going to get going now. Before I get into this presentation, I'm gonna say what a lot of other agencies, and I'm sure the other platforms you guys are running around looking at AI tools on isn't saying. Um, I think that AI is going to 100% change our entire industry. It already is. In 2 to 3 years, it won't even look the same in a lot of ways that we do construction. I think it's exactly what construction needs. We haven't really changed much in the last 25 years. This is definitely going to bring about change. But I'm also going to say, from my perspective as well, having been to all the demos, been chasing the shiny objects myself, um, it can be a devastating distraction. Okay. So a lot of the AI stuff that's out there and the problems that it's looking to solve, we can all attribute to shiny objects. Okay. Even the stuff I'm going to share with you today, and the point of this whole presentation is to get you focused on the things that are going to bring the most results, and less of the things that can be serving as distractions, or that the idea and the concept is possible, but the technology is not there. All right. So I want to keep everybody's attention today on what actually is working now versus what will be working in the future, and remind everyone that we're all running a marathon. We're not running a race, right? So as AI comes in more and more into our business, we have to be prepared to receive it. And when we're chasing shiny objects and constantly changing, major parts of our business around AI, that can do a lot of damage. The last thing I'm going to say, and again, it's not to scare anyone away from it, AI will expose you. All right. And I mean that in the most sincere way. So for anybody that thinks that by having AI in their business, that they can skip the fundamental, skills and requirements that it takes to being a good contractor, you're sorely losing. All right. It will definitely not do that at all. It actually will do more damage than good. Again, the best example I can do is, yes, AI can really help in marketing and sales. All right. But if you don't have the capability or the back end infrastructure to produce the work that you're selling, it's only going to get you in more trouble. So my approach to this is find the things that get you back time. Focus on the things that save you personally time. All right. Less on the shiny objects, less on um, the big future things, and really kind of focus on spending that time that you've gotten back on building the infrastructure to your business. Because again, there is no AI that's going to make you a better business person. All right. It will certainly enhance you if you're a bad business person, right? If you haven't learned your fundamentals and you haven't, put the work in as a contractor to become disciplined, all right, well ran, AI is not going to help you. All right. It's going to make it worse. So with that said, I am glad to share this presentation with you guys today. And we're going to look at 5 apps or 5 areas of the business that will truly buy you back your time, that will get you back a lot of time. And as we know in this business, time is money. All right. So the first thing that I want to drive home as well is AI is not for the big guys. All right. So this is one of the biggest equalizers that I've seen in my entire career, and the opportunity to equalize with a company that's, doing 20 million, right? So the most expensive lie in construction is that, AI is for, large corporations, or that they even have it implemented better than you are. Okay. It's just simply not true. Everyone's been served the same level playing field. Right now, we are in a moment of whoever grips it and gets, good control of it first is going to win, is going to grow. All right. There's no doubt about that. All right. But it's not for the $20 million contractor. And it's, again, when they try to implement it, they have a lot more variables than you have. All right. So it's even harder for them to get adapted to it. So just keep that in mind. This is an opportunity for, the whole market to become more equalized. I haven't seen a better opportunity. Okay. So again, when we think about, what would equalize our operation compared to a $20 million corporation or a $20 million contractor. All right. Most of it, all right, is going to be that you can operate a business, all right, with one or two people that would take another business 50 to do. All right. That is absolutely on the horizon. That's where it's, we can see that coming very quickly, especially with, in a lot of areas of the business. Again, we look at reception, estimating, sales coordinating, project coordination, office admin, a lot of those areas now. Again, you will be able to use AI, and you can use AI to a certain degree today, which is exciting. All right. And that compared to a company that's carrying a large overhead, with these, with staff on board, and a lot of times, poorly trained staff that maybe aren't performing in those roles anyways. This is where we can start to look at where should we start? Where should we actually be looking at for the best solution? So number one across the board, I'm going to say right now, out of the box, ready to go, is the voice AI receptionist agent. Again, for a lot of you guys, missing phone calls is a serious, serious loss. All right. Missing any phone calls at any time. You may have noticed, again, if you're in the service side of this, um, you know, if you don't pick up on that first call, they've simply called someone else and they've moved on. All right. So we should stop losing that $1,200 every time we can't pick up. All right. For somebody that's a sole operator, or, even up to a full scale company, there's a lot of benefit that can come from having a voice AI receptionist, and they've come a long way. Now they even have memory, which is exciting, where they can remember customers' details and information. They can be used as a part of customer service. Really exciting on this end of it. So the voice AI receptionist agent, again, a lot of the CRMs now have them built in, or again, they're going to be able to have a service work through them. I highly recommend that. As you may know or may not know, I guess may not know, we do offer a full scale CRM that has these features built in, but that's not what we're pushing here today. We're talking more about what the agent is and what it does. So again, voice AI receptionist, probably the best bang for your buck, the best opportunity, the easiest to set up overall. And I would highly recommend it. At the very least, and the very simplest thing to implement is a missed call text back, right? It may seem too simple to be real. That's more of an automation than an AI, but just letting customers know that you've got the call and you'll get back to them can save a lot of deals, right? So if we want to just lightly get something started, the missed call text back. Most of your phone carriers will have this. Any good CRM will have it. It's something you guys can turn on today. So we'll call this a quick win. I recommend everybody has that on a feature in their phone. Now, what I'll do after each agent, guys, is if you want, just let me know if you have any questions at all. I'll gladly answer them, especially as we go through this, and knowing that a lot of you guys may not be familiar with what I'm showing, but feel free to ask any questions. Okay, so everyone's pretty clear on the voice AI. Excellent. Okay, so the app two, and in terms of getting back sales and winning more business, and just being in a place that you would not normally be. All right, most of us have a website at this point. All right, I'd say the majority of contractors we've seen do. Some don't, but having the chatbot. to capture leads. Okay. One of the simplest things, again, if you've got a good CRM, it will have a feature for this. But I can't tell you how many leads, come in well after closing time. Most people are busy and working. Most decisions and most inquiries get made after 7 o'clock at night. All right. So with that in mind, when people are searching for you and they find your website, they find, your landing pages, all right? It'd be wise for you to have a way of communicating with them, at least capturing contact information. And people are looking for these bots now. All right. Again, giving your customer the Amazon experience, being available anytime that they have those inquiries is definite, easy, low-hanging fruit for most contractors to get on. And again, you can get advanced with these agents as well. So I'm going to give you sort of the starter, and I'll give you more of an advanced look at where you can be with them. Um, the lead qualifier bot can be simply that, just an agent that's collecting contact information. That's sort of your basic level. We can start it today kind of thing. Not a lot of maintenance or a lot to get started with. And then we have another one that's not just going to only capture leads, all right, but it can even give out quotes. It can even book appointments. All right, so we can go a lot further with this. All right, as the technology advances, and again, we have lots and lots of examples of these, where it's performing multiple tasks that essentially act as an online sales agent. All right, depending on your service, depending on what you're offering, maybe not so popular in the commercial side. All right, but where they can be of service is again that middle point ground. All right, we were even seeing them now in customer service. All right, which are working pretty well. Just about anywhere where you would have a conversation with a customer, a vendor, anything that is frequently causing you to pick up your phone. All right. We want to think about where we can implement these so people feel like they're still accomplishing something with your business. All right. And you can give them knowledge bases. We can have them be very skilled at a specific role. Again, there's plenty of examples. I'll try and share some with you shortly of where again these agents can be implemented. Okay. Any questions so far on the chatbot agent or the qualifier agent? I'm curious, how many of you guys have seen these? How many of you guys have used one of these recently? Yeah. Let me see if I've got anything in the chat there. No one in the chat. Okay. All right. Wow. Then I must be introducing brand new stuff to you guys. No. Never. Oh, really? Okay. So again, like I said, if you even pop onto the Contractor AI, you'll see a version of our chatbot. But again, you're going to see them being used in a lot of spaces, especially right now. Again, if you go on any tech site, any software site, you're going to find them. Again, contractors are the slowest to adapt to new technology. We're still doing things 25 years behind, so some might be new to a lot of you. That's perfectly okay. These are generally things that you can get set up. They're relatively low cost, and again, just genuinely deliver results. So the next one that I'm going to talk to you about, and I'm going to actually demo this one, and this is where I really see the huge aha moment coming for most of you guys, is the estimating. All right, so I don't know if you guys would I don't know if you guys know this, but Google recently changed a policy, and the policy is around price transparency. All right. And these are to do with your local Maps pack, your local Google ads. All right. What they are looking for is obviously the same, the classic signals, lots of good reviews, responding to your reviews, having content that's being shared to the algorithm. But they had this interesting little, comment and statement about price transparency. And when I dug into it, what I realized that they were saying, all right, and this might make sense for you guys now, or it's definitely going to be a thing very shortly, is that they're looking, all right, more towards you being able to give everyone an Amazon experience. That means that when they log onto your site or touch your base, they should be able to get a price, right? Think about that. Like think about where we're going with this and where AI is really going to make a difference. Okay. And I'm going to demonstrate you one of these agents that we've been, using for local business top of funnel. All right. So when you have your local Google My Business profile, you'll see that they have an option there that you can turn on for immediate quotes. All right. This is super important. So now all right, again, if you think about how Amazon and how everything else has evolved, all right, what they will be looking for, and again, it'll extend into your actual job sites as well. Give me 1 second here. Lost my link. Might have to stop sharing here, guys, but I'll show you in a second. Oh, there we go. All right. So again, this is a basic one that we're setting up for um, Google Local Business. Again, it's meant to be broad, but what they do is they come in, all right, they'll share a picture of something they want to get replaced, all right, just for the demonstration purposes here. They can, again, very quickly generate a quote, all right? And oddly enough, Google is the first one to come out with a Gemini product that allows them to actually be able to measure space. All right. So from a picture or from a video or from images, they're able to actually figure out what the square dimensions are. They're able to pick up construction segments where this can be connected as well. For a lot of, I think a lot of you on here, and many of our clients, we use job tread. It means that this would actually produce a quote inside your job tread, all right. That would then, prompt you to have a conversation with someone and already have their budget. Okay. This is the way, this is 100% the area that we're going to. The instant quote, like we're going to, they're happening in my industry, in the exterior industry. They're there. They weren't so much prevalent in the interior, but the technology is there. So this is what they get back in return. Again, I set this up for demo purposes. And again, this would be more of your top of the funnel. Let the customer know what their price is. Now, again, when you can be transparent like this, the place you're going to get picked up on, all right, is on the AI search mode. So everybody, if you go to Google right now, you'll see they have an AI search mode. All right. This is the backdoor trick to getting listed there. All right. Because this is what the AIs are actually looking for as a tool to send people and send traffic. And the reason they can, again, if they send traffic to your listing, all right, we keep them on there long enough to show that, we're keeping people on platform and getting good results for Google. All right. And there you go. It's produced a quote. All right. Now, this is about 80% accurate, 75% accurate, I've been told. It uses a national database that's ran by the Insurance Market and Bureau. All right. So it's constantly being updated. Now, we can also use our own cost books, which is, the way that I would rather have it work is, again, working with your own price guides, your own, price structure. All right. We can go on to a job site and very quickly, share images, videos, even drawings. Okay, we have an app that we've got already working with a few of our clients, where they're able to do all of that. Now, again, think about that in terms of improving your overall operations, improving your accuracy, reducing amount of human error mistakes. All right, but the most important, the number one thing that I want to drive home to everybody here today is this isn't going to be a novelty. Give it 6 months and a year. This will be out of the gate, and you'll see all the bigger contractors using it. They're already starting to invest in it. The technology's there, the opportunity's there, but that's exactly what the customer is going to expect, right? So talk about where it's going to create a divide. Everybody's being trained right now, all right, by Amazon, by online retail shopping, to expect immediate service. Okay, if you can't see that, you're blind. All right. How many of you guys have bought something from Amazon recently? Okay. Why are they so successful? Because it's convenient, it's fast, it's easy. All right. It's kicking the hell out of the retail, shopping space. It's kicking the hell out of retail stores, and it's going to do the same thing. We're seeing the beginning of something that's absolutely huge, and that contractors in the future, all right, won't be so dependent on people to do the estimating portion of their jobs. Now, is it going to come and replace you doing the work? No, it's not anytime soon that I can see. All right. It's going to take these kind of things, though, which have always been the sticking point in the industry and in the market. It's what stopped contractors from, having a real clear advantage. Is it's been primarily heavy lifting. It's a skilled job. All right. But now we can do two things on our marketing side. All right. We can speed up the experience for our customer and we can demonstrate our value. All right. Short term. All right. This is short term because eventually everyone will have them. It'll be the status quo. I'm more than certain of. Okay. Where we again can extend this is taking these into the field. All right. Change orders, you name it. All right. Collecting that data now is going to be something you do on your phone. All right. It's because people want one-stop shop. They want speed and convenience. They want, again, we've proven it over and over again, the one call close. If you're in the residential side of things, if you're in the service side of things, the opportunity here is you go in and you do an electrical repair for somebody's home. All right. While you're there, you're able to collect, maybe they have, a bad panel or they have old wiring. All right. We can collect all that data, be able to provide them with a price, even if they're not going to have it done there, and schedule maintenance with them. Okay. All the way down the line. And the best thing about it is it's time to your price book. So again, if you can think about it, it's like somebody doing your estimating, but it's in your pocket. Right. Same thing with, change orders, all those things that take time and cause, negative experiences with our clients. There's a million applications for it, but that's just one of our agents. Right. So anybody have any questions about the agent, the estimating agent? Oh, all right.
CJ has a question. CJ has a question. He's raising his personal hand.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Just unmute yourself and
How close are we to integrating it with JobTread? There's been a lot. I've seen a
it's
lot of
done.
people online
We
having difficulty with different programs uh, connecting to JobTread and data usage and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So to answer your question, I mean, I always in my business personally, we've had it implemented for almost like 6, 7 weeks. So we've been using it in job. Like I wouldn't bring anything to the table we haven't fully tested. Like that was the platform we started on. But even if you don't have JobTread, or if you had to go out, I put a separate database that actually pulls from it, and it's 100% uptime. So like again, in terms of your price being close and the purpose of this at the top funnel, you don't need JobTread. You don't need it to connect to JobTread. That's, again, that's an extra to this. And I'm sure they'll come out with their own, feature to this, eventually or at some point. Like it's, again, it's available now that the technology sits there. So like these are the early versions of it, but this is like out the box, ready to go anytime you want, right? So, which is it's a different world, right? It changes the game for a lot of people. And that's what I'm saying. Somebody that was, a single guy now that has a decent marketing plan can very quickly scale his company, especially when he's, getting a hold of his numbers. Because I see some of the ways that guys estimate and it's not good, right? Like it's pen and paper still, and it's a mess. Then they're going back and trying to figure these things out. And that's where the mistakes get made. That's where the client experience gets dropped too. Because, the best example I can share with you is like when we get a request, and we've had it a little longer in J Carter Roofing, my own company, we've had instant quotes for 2 years, right? Because we're exteriors, so that we can use satellite images and stuff. We've had those for a long time, and we've seen the benefit of it. Again, reducing estimating costs by 80%. All right. Now, where it wasn't available is in the home service side of things, and to have it very specific to your business. That's where the uniqueness comes to this, is that you're not using a general tool. You can now use a very specific tool for your business and have it set up, however you want it to be, to run, right? Which is pretty unique and different, I think. And again, exciting. These are the kind of things though that will move the needle, right? No matter which size company you are, no matter who you are, like it's adapt or die to one of these few things, right? Because if you give it enough time, everyone's going to implement one form or another, and the advantage you had is now gone, right? So we want to think about those as now's the time to take them offensively. All right. So we want to be on the offense right now with these while they're not all over the market. Okay. Any other questions, guys? No? Oh, I just restarted the whole thing. Okay. So our smart estimation, again, for you guys doing commercial, uh, anything with plans, they're doing really, really well there. we have features with ours that are able to take in plans, floor plans, all that kind of stuff, and grab all the square footage. They're not perfect. I'm not going to, exaggerate and try to say that they're the very best, but again, it's going to cut your time spent doing an estimate by over 80%. All right. So again, a lot of the data entry, the finding of cost codes, stuff like that can all be eliminated, and it's going to just give you that more, that bigger advantage, right? So instead of spending 2 hours doing a quote, you might spend 10 minutes, right? That would make a significant difference in time for everybody that's doing estimating in their business. And then the accuracy and the presentation to your client is also something you want to be in control of, right? So the other side, while we're talking about estimates, I think most contractors, they give out estimates. We give out numbers on a piece of paper, all right? And then we wonder why we always get compared on price. Wonder why we always, can't beat the guy, and we think that it's a pricing thing, all right? Most of us don't realize that, hey, it's, when we look at our proposals, they say a lot about us. All right. They say a lot about who we are and what kind of knowledge and how much we can be trusted. Okay. And if there's anywhere in most of our clients that we start to make improvements that they see, almost immediately is in their proposal. So having a real proposal, and I've done lots of training on this in terms of giving options, having them actually show, what your company is without you having to tell somebody, right? So when it comes out of your mouth, just like this whole conversation today, everything that comes out of my mouth, I already know we're in the post-trust era. No one trusts anybody. Everybody's skeptical of everything, especially contractors. Never been a more skeptical bunch. And I don't blame you one bit, because there's a lot of snake skin oil out there, but you have the same uphill battle to fight with your clients. And whether you realized it yet or you haven't, people don't believe anything that comes out of your mouth. All right. I've long understood that. When you can't demonstrate your value, meaning nonverbal, showing them a proposal, giving a proposal uh, with your previous projects, reviews, all right, having a proposal that presents like a sales presentation, all right, that they get to see, all right, you've eliminated yourself from a lot of races, from a lot of how customers view you. All right. So the problem has been is putting up a decent proposal together. Before in the past, again, they would be templatized, not really custom to individuals. Now we can really customize those. So we can make a proposal, on top of your estimate, we can make that presentation really pop, and we can make it specific to that customer's problems or needs. And this can be as simple as you keeping a transcriber on you. That's, if you're doing in-home sales or going out on job sites. This is essentially recording, what you find, your videos, your voicemail notes, okay, can all be pushed into a proposal generator. All right, which is a very cool thing for AI to do. I'm going to actually show you, some work orders and stuff that we've done, where they get produced instantly. And you can tell me if you see a difference, right? So again, the relatively easy to implement as well. Again, we're not talking tens of thousands of dollars to build out. They're quick, easy. If you have Claude, you can make one even yourself if you want to go through that route, or they can be put on an app. Another option. All right. I would always recommend though that you are not using an LSM, so the large language models, to put prices in. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Anybody here that's using Claude, ChatGPT, any of them, guys, you have to understand something right away. When you put your data into those LLMs and it's not protected, it's not encrypted, you're not using like an off server or an agent that is specifically, tied to your business. All right. You are giving the entire area, all right, knowledge of what your pricing structure is. Okay. And do you think that there's other guys going there and doing the same? Absolutely. I'm seeing it repetitively and over again. Be very careful with what you put in about your business. Again, if you're putting budget sheets and you're going through your financials there, all of that can be hacked. All of that can be seen. All right. It can be pulled and drawn. So I know everyone here has probably got the same look on their face. Like, use your intelligence here. Okay, you're putting that out into the world. When you signed up to those platforms, you allowed them to use that data. All right, you allowed them to distribute it however they felt. Okay, so you have to be safe with these things. That's where, again, now the dawn of AI agents and security is becoming a factor. All right, when we move beyond chat, right? Which I'd say the majority of you guys are using. You're using ChatGPT to chat with, and the Claude to maybe do a couple small things. But we're moving from that point to AI being able to do things for you, perform tasks. Okay. You can't use the public LLMs without having it, protected and have security on that, or else all of your data is wide open. Okay. All it takes is one injection code on top of that. An injection code, by the way, is a piece of code that can be embedded. And let's say you've connected your Claude to an MCP server. All right. For you guys that may know, I want to connect into my CRM. All right. There's no security on that. Very little, I should say. All it takes is one code to now allow me to get to your CRM and start, adding things to it. So for an example, and again, I hope that you guys get some value from what I'm telling you. I had a customer yesterday tell me about how one of his bank draft statements out of their email got intercepted. All right. So they were sending it out to a large scale client. It got intercepted in the email. They changed the bank draft inside of it, sent it through to the client. All right. The client paid the bank draft and the money's gone. Right. Over $50,000 gone. That's how easy it is. All right. So again, and that all came from him opening up his server, opening up his CRM and getting an injection code from an email. All right. It was able to pass right through into the CRM. So be very, very careful about how and where you're connecting these tools. Again, security is very, very important. I know it's exciting stuff. And again, some guys are really taking it to a next level, but I can't stress the amount of importance around security and safety now with this kind of stuff. Right. So one of the areas, if you're building your own tools, you want to be sure of, all right, and you may have heard them, like the Claude bots and stuff like that. They have some big safety problems to them. You want to maybe consult with a consultant on this. We're happy to have the chat with you as well. But having your own secure off-server place to store your AI agents, all right, very wise. We don't want to be sharing any, information with our competitors. We certainly don't want to have it just hanging out there on the internet. And again, all of that stuff is exposed. All right. Anything you're doing with those agents is fully exposed and can be used or manipulated against you. All right. So now I scared the hell out of you. Let's get back to the fun stuff. The AI job site operations. All right. So probably my favorite place that we've been able to implement some meaningful AI. All right. Again, anybody using Job or anybody doing daily summaries, having to report, having your PMs report, you know how shitty they are at it generally. You get vague descriptions, you get, undetailed reports. Well, what it allows us to do now is actually to have a code. All right. So somebody that's filling out a report can use their chat, their photos, their video. All right. And we can just brain dump these into these apps. They can do things like I showed you with the estimator. They can do punch lists. Okay. They can analyze subcontractors, rates. When you get a price from a subcontractor, it can pick apart their material and labor and see where their range is. All right. It can help you to actually tell a subcontractor what you're going to pay them versus them having to tell you. All right. We can have pre-construction checklists. Again, all of these features that we can push through JobTread or any of your CRMs, they can be automated. So again, it's about compliance, safety, another great area where, forms are required and certain things are required. We can now use AI to gather all those agents. All right. So those agents are actually out there and they're going to take that information and they're going to organize it. If you're going to send out a report or if you're going to report to your customer. All right. These are great things to have. All right. And they just make the job a lot easier. You get a lot more professionalism out of it. And again, in terms of documentation, I've met very few contractors that are absolutely amazing at it. It's usually a weak point for a lot of contractors, and even more so for their PMs. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've pulled my hair out with just the lack of information. We have all the tools, we use them, but now it's really how you take, those sketched out notes or those, vague descriptions, and actually use that information to, drive other functions in the business. This would normally require a person or a coordinator. We can now use agents for that. And just the documentation side, the quality control, all of these areas are really, really valuable. All right. And again, cuts time, right? Because if your PM had to go write all these reports, of course, that's going to be additional cost and more expensive. All right. So we've got lots of these kind of apps that can make things a lot easier. Any questions? Oh, what are safe AI tools to use Claude and ChatGPT LLM? So the best ones again is your own secure like secured server. All right. So we would call like a Linux system as well that I've been using. All right. That the AI and like the chats that we're having are, held on the computer. So the memory and everything else is held on the, the data source that you're working from. That's obviously where we want to go from. And then, having a good security system in front of that. In terms of chatting with Claude and ChatGPT, though, just remember, like at the end of the day, all right, we have to be conservative with what exactly we are sharing. Financial documents is a no-no. Like, don't be sharing your P&Ls and stuff like that. Like, again, it's not going to end well. All right. If you're using, and there are such things again that we use a lot of, especially with sensitive, customer information, where we're, going off the LLM, and using an AI still, but it's on a secured server. All right. So meaning that it's encrypted, it's not being exposed. Okay. How many of you guys have any questions about what we just went through? Right. So again, in terms of giving you 5 today, all right, I've purposely done that because I know we're all, these are all shiny objects, even to me. Again, we run around and kind of get a lot of ideas out there. What I want you guys to focus on, and if there's anything that I can tell you at all, is focus on the things with the lowest level of your involvement. All right, that's going to get you back the most amount of time. Okay, and again, don't think about having everything automated and AI driven and everything. Like, the reality of that happening overnight is very, very low. All right, especially if you're buying pieces of it, from one. I would really just kind of focus on your infrastructure, focus on the tools that you need. So again, a good project management system. You've heard me say JobTread, we're fans of that. There's plenty of other ones out there depending on your service, right? Again, focus on getting those things working first. Make sure that we're doing the fundamentals. Make sure we can job cost. Make sure that we have good financial controls. Okay, that we understand our jobs. We have, sales and marketing plans. We have recruitment plans. All right. Again, in all of those areas, we have AI that can enhance it. Right now, I'm saying enhance. Do not get delusional. All right. There is no such thing as an unsupervised AI. There is no such thing. Okay. Don't think that you can just drop one of these things in and ignore it. All right. Or not pay attention to it and have it, forever work autonomously. That is an illusion. Okay. All of them require maintenance. All of them require updating. All of them require security and layers of where they get implemented into the business. And all of them will expose your bad habits. Okay. So again, these things are meant to enhance our business. So again, like I said, most of you guys on here are probably the Wayne Gretzky's of your market and your industry. You're probably doing way more. I don't think I've met a single customer that didn't have at least 5 or 6 hats on. All right. Let's just imagine for a second, though, that you could save 4 hours of your day by being enhanced. Okay. What's that mean? How significant is that to you and your family? That's where I want you to think. All right. Getting beyond that, listen, it's going to come. Everything's going to be gone and reiterated, and even the things I've shown you today, you give it 3 months and it'll be old news. Okay, so that is unfortunately the way that we're going. That's where, again, contractor AI, we try to take that away from our clients and not have them have to stress about it. We implement these things with them so they don't feel like they're on their own with these kind of things. And like I said, I can't possibly put AI into somebody's business who, again, doesn't follow fundamentals, right? Isn't dedicated to, process and building a system, right? Is, going running their business without knowing their numbers. Those are all things that this will definitely cause problems for you for, right? Again, very good way to look at it is garbage in and garbage out. And AI is not going to clean up the garbage. All right. It's if anything, it's going to agree with you and add more to it. Okay. Is there an app for bid tracking and client selection management? Yes. Yes, there is. There's lots of, again, a lot of them, what we're seeing the beginning of, and I'll just kind of highlight what the difference is here. We kind of come in the last few years, we started with ChatGPT, which was able to give us information. Okay. We then moved into, more into automation. I'd say the last 2 or 3 years have been automation. And now we're at the point of what we call agents. So agents are able to do custom things. All right. So it can do a set of tasks together and it can be orchestrated with other agents. All right. So this is the exciting part right now. And again, maybe I'll go too far with this one, but let's just imagine for a second we have a manager. Okay. The manager is the manager of your agents. Okay. Now you have an agent that only does bid tracking. Okay. So for example, it's going to log onto a website and check for all the bids that fit your custom or your business's profile, right? I have one of those in mine, works really, really well. Searches of our bid websites and sees if there's anything that is metal related, right? And it's going to give us back, recommended bid list, right? That's one area. All right. Second to that, I mean, in terms of your selection management, we can actually use one to go out and update all of your catalogs or list anything that's new from a supplier. Again, there's literally endless things however you want it to be set up that it can do, right? But each one of these agents has to be specifically trained and built for your situation if you're going that route. All right. So not something that happens overnight. Definitely, there are some out of the box things that can be done, but the more and more specific to your business, the more they become um, just like an employee. What can I say? They're just like an employee. So again, where you get back time is once you've trained them, you don't have to pay them, which is somewhat nice. Any other questions? Okay, so um, wanted to share with you guys just a quick, again, for you guys that are just coming into this, of what is possible with your AI agents. These are the things that we've tracked and been able to come up with already that are somewhat available and not, maybe customized to your business, but for the most part, they're low hanging, out of the box solutions. So voice receptionist, again, number one, missed call, text back, lead qualifier, the AI proposal generator, estimate follow-up, which is automation. Again, you would do through a CRM, bid leveling, win-loss analysis, prospect intelligence, pipeline forecasting. All of these things, again, when you put them together, all right, really create a powerful overall advantage, right? So I don't think one of these things on their own really brings massive, other than the voice receptionist and maybe the top five. But put together, that's when you really start to see, some unfair advantages appear, right? In marketing, again, review requests, before after stories, again, for your job sites when you're creating content. Social media content's a big one. Email nurture sequences, SEO content, competitor analysis, marketing ROI tracker, referral automators. All of these can be, set up and work autonomously, which is nice. In operations, your email triage, SOP generators, client update draft, lead to project handoff, hiring orchestrator, document library, multi-agent orchestrators. That's, again, these orchestrators are what you're going to hear more and more of. You would have an orchestrator for each department that basically fire these agents when it gets an objective. Right. So it would have these agents that specialize in these specific things, but you would need an orchestrator to organize them above that. Right. And that's, again, for anyone that's seen OpenClaw or any of those kind of applications, that's what we're seeing now. That's the newest and greatest thing this month, I'll say. Yeah, life cycle automation, weekly business reviews. In finance, again, I see a big opportunity here for most contractors that are poor with that anyways. A lot of the data entry, progress billing, invoice follow-up, job costs, budget comparisons, vendor bill processors. Big again for making any of your CRMs, JobTread, any of them to work. Most of the time they don't work because we don't keep up with the data entry, right? So getting the bills in, getting the receipts in, matching things, all of that is, where we want to be, definitely placed, right? Business mix analyzer, cash flow forecasting, job autopsy, your departmental P&L, not on Claude or any of the open source ones. It's got to be off server, right? So KPI dashboards, again, you can relatively create those pretty easily. In the production, again, the daily log summarizer, punch list generator, pre-construction checklist, photo documentation compliance, scope change detector, quality control inspections, material waste tracker, subcontractor scorecard, all the shit you guys probably don't do, right? So that's where we want to focus. The shit you should be doing, but you don't do it, right? It's a great idea, and the companies that really grow fast do it, but you guys don't do it, right? So again, by adding these things here, it's pure benefit at that point, right? So, and we can do all of those things, all of those tasks, all right, way faster than a human now. And again, it's moving, it's saving time. All right. If you did have a PM, it's going to enhance that PM. It's going to be an absolute rock star now. Right. But on his own outside of your business, he'd probably be homeless. Right. So again, these are the kind of improvements that we can get and where you want to be focused on, the low hanging fruit. In time, daily planning, delay notifications. I actually implemented this in my business. It's been a game changer. It takes in weather reports. It makes a prediction on how accurate our schedules are, right? So for anybody managing a large cash flow, many employees and vendors and bills and stuff, game changer, right? So as you scale, that becomes the big problem is managing cash flow, staying ahead and keeping your jobs on schedule, right? Keeping your production on schedule. So I see a lot of opportunity there. And it's, again, something that most contractors, I would say, at least 90% that I'm dealing with don't even have any clue of. So having anything there is going to be better than what they have now, right? So immediate improvements. The time tracking reconciler, again, checking your times to your budgets, all of those kind of things, really, really good. Just the meeting intelligence. You might notice I think I have more AI takers on here than humans anymore. I don't know. We get a lot of them. Usually kick them all out, but that's a great place, just having a note taker, being able to use that information from your meetings, to create tasks, to keep everybody on track, to update your customers. Great place to implement, and the capacity planning, right? So again, these are the kind of things that we already have, the technology available for. We have it everywhere from simple to, a little more built in, but we want to think about those as being the lowest hanging opportunities if you're looking to implement these AIs, right? So again, I think as we get to the end of this track, I'd like to share just a really quick case study with you of a contractor we're working with recently. It was pretty exciting. A roofer doing about 900K. All right. We implemented, just again from the marketing side, we implemented, his ads performance, but we put in an AI receptionist and a callback agent, simple things again that are been available around for a long time that a lot of guys aren't taking advantage of. And we were seeing some pretty big improvements. The biggest one I would say that I'm most proud of is the number of days to sign contract. Okay. So again, speed to lead, speed to lead. All right. That will make the biggest difference in your sales and marketing, bar none. How quickly you can get. And if you followed my whole play here, everything is related to speed to lead, customer experience, how quickly you can move them through, and removing the friction points that are stopping you from closing deals. Okay. People don't realize it, but our consumers are changing. All right. Their attitudes with AI coming in. Remember, you're serving people in other industries and other markets. All right. Other experiences. We are the slowest to adapt. All right. So again, if you've got a customer that's coming from, you know, finance or coming from, you know, technology or I mean, even manufacturing, you know what, even from restaurants, all right, they're already been introduced to technology far advanced than what we're seeing here, right? They are naturally forced to adapt. Okay. What are they going to think of your business in 5, 6 months and a year when everything else is moving and growing? All right. But you haven't, you know, you're out there with paper and pen, giving them a paper quote. All right. Will that even exist? Will that be possible? Hell no. All right. People will, like I've been showing you, the future of it is going to be, you know, if they can't get immediate quotes, you'll be out of it. Like by the time you show up to give someone a quote, someone like me will be there doing the work and smiling at you. Right. What's going to happen? So again, these are the areas that are the first defensive ones that we want to take, right? Focusing on maintaining your customer experience and meeting their expectations because it's not a novelty, all right? It's an expectation now. All right? So what kind of difference do you see when we can move someone from 900K doing okay, all right? That's not a bad business, right? Working 70 hours though, right? 27% missed calls was, you know, doing everything themselves, one man show and thinking he was doing great with it. All right. All we did was take that side of things off his plate, introduce him an outbound marketing system and worked on his speed to getting the quotes there and boom, you know, almost doubles his business and growing still. Right. So more profitable, faster, and just working smarter. Okay. So, the last little thing I'm gonna rant with you guys, and I appreciate everybody hanging out here today, is really thinking about having a plan when you are thinking about using AI. All right. Now, again, I shared with you when we started this, I've taken a lot of demos. I've tried a lot of software. I've been a connoisseur of the shiny objects, and boy, have I chased some. I didn't sleep very much, for all the shiny objects. But here's a couple of things that I can tell you that will absolutely save your time and your brain capacity is actually having a plan. Okay. So rather than having 50 ideas of how AI could help you, all right, and I literally just gave you 50 ideas. So bringing that back down to earth, I want you to pick 2 or 3 things, all right? Pick those 3 things. Hopefully, those are my top 5 list. Focus on getting those implemented into your business, all right? Don't worry about anything else. Focus on just those 3. If you plan it out, all right, and where you need these things most, all right, and you have an actual operation plan, it becomes so much easier to put these things in and have them, be able to adapt with them as you grow. All right. However, going out without it or just we call it stacking your technology stacks. So, but you know how many contracts I've seen come in with 3 CRMs? 3. All right. A project management system half implemented or not implemented. That's usually the clients we get, right? No systems at all. But I've seen more and more coming in with these ridiculous, like they've gotten every software you can see, and they're trying to stack their way out of their technology when really all they need to simplify is to have one set base, okay? And then we plan from there, right? Technology will become a huge burden to you, A, if you don't understand it completely, but B, if you start, chasing the shiny objects without a plan, all right? Without what you will really actually move the needle for you. Okay. And you're going to get caught up in the hype. You're going to get caught up in the marketing and the advertising of it. God help you if you search any of these things. I feel bad for your social media channels because it will stalk you. They'll come to your home now. They'll come to your home. I'm telling you. Right? Be careful putting this stuff in. So, and of course, if you're looking to get any help on this, I'm more than happy to take a look at what you're doing and give you some advice. I'll throw my contact information down in the chat here for you guys. If you want to have a conversation about it and what you're doing with your technology stack, I may not be able to help you specifically, but I will certainly, if I can't, I will send you in the right direction. Okay. Any questions? No, this of all the times that I've ran these, I would have figured I'd get the most questions on this one.
I'm sure that all this is built into your CRMs and your systems.
Yeah, but what I'll say with that, yeah, there's a lot of these built in. And of course that's what we offer, but we're not for everybody. I'm not trying to sell you the CRM. I want you to understand first is the structure that goes in behind it, right? Like it doesn't matter. My CRM, like we work with whatever you have. It's about getting that stuff optimized and getting your time back, right? So yeah, in our CRM we have it, but it's not a, again, if you've got one, I'd rather optimize the one you have and get it working, with these other tools than to switch over to mine just to use the one that we're using. Most of the time when we're implementing them, it's because somebody doesn't have a CRM. That's again, right? You've switched yours a few times too, haven't you? You know what that's like.
Yeah, but I'm just not happy with what I've got, so I'm curious if it's in there. I might
Oh,
start talking to
well,
you
in that
about.
case, yeah, absolutely. I'm not trying to talk myself out of it.
Yeah, you just did.
Yeah, no, there we go. Damn it. Maybe next time.
I'd like to get a meeting with you.
Yeah, sure. Just we'll grab the link in the chat, or we can reach out to you as well. Maria,
We'll reach out to you, Kevin.
Say again?
awesome. We'll reach out to you. We've got your contacts.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
So if you help us put like all these agents in or help us
Mhm.
with this, is, kind of guiding us on how to set up our own secure environments to run some of these more
Yeah.
sensitive things, can that be a part of it too?
100%. So again, I'm of the school of thought. It's like if you're a contractor and you're investing in technology, and I've had this experience, like I want to own it, and I all my customers we put in writing, they own it. Like that software, the stack, the setup, and again, of course, we're going to put security in it. But you're going to actually own it. This is going to be your agents, like, and we rather teach you to set, like, to manage them and have it operate within your business, within your infrastructure. All right. That way, again, if something were to happen, heaven forbid, with Contractor AI, which, again, we're pretty secure, you wouldn't be affected,
Hmm.
right?
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep.
So yeah. And again, like I said, a lot of this stuff is already stuff we automatically do. The agents and stuff is in our CRMs, and you have Go High Level as well, so you know what we're operating on. A lot of that stuff just needs to be optimized and set up and used to get a lot of the benefits from it.
Right. Cool.
Cool. Any other questions, guys? All right. Well, I appreciate everybody's time today. I hope you've gotten some value. And for God's sakes, guys, take the wins. All right. Take the quick wins. Don't get overwhelmed, and let's take action from today.